Good evening, rockers. Welcome to a special edition of On the Rocks Total Entertainment. Tonight, we are talking to another rocker. This is going to be a great interview. B.walter Will. Let's get him in. Hello.
Okay, I'm gonna let you go.
Hello.
Hello, hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing good. How about you?
Good. Welcome to On the Rocks.
How you doing? Good?
Good, good. I'm really excited to talk to you.
Cool.
I've heard so much. I want to give a shout out to my old friend, Michelle Shozer Davis. She's amazing. She connected us together.
She's great. She's wonderful.
So we're gonna have fun because I know you're an author, and The Yellow Pinto is an amazing book. So yeah, let's talk first. Tell me a little bit about how long have you been in LA?
I've been in LA off and on for probably the last 17 to 18 years. I would always come up here or sneak away up here, as a teenager and kid, and sneak into concerts and get in all kinds of trouble, and I always wanted to end up coming back here, and so that's how I ended up back in Los Angeles. I did a screenplay, got some money for it, and it was my reason to come back, and so that's why I came back to Los Angeles, and I've not left since. I love it here.
Well, that's great because I'm sure you've got a lot of stories we'll talk about. Hey, what was one of the first concerts you ever saw?
One of the first concerts I ever saw, believe it or not, was Rod Stewart, Blondes Have More Fun tour.
Wow.
I was a total dork as a kid, total, adolescent. I didn't go through puberty till later on in my life, so it was a trip to go to that. We was fun to go to see girls because Rod Stewart got a lot of girls. We went and saw that, and then we went and saw right smack after we saw the Kiss, the rock band Kiss.
Oh yeah.
And I absolutely adored that band. They were idols of mine when I was growing up.
Oh yeah. I mean, Kiss is just it's such a big part of rock history.
Yeah, them and Judas Priest, I would say, were pretty much, and AC/DC as well, were pretty much the three holy trinity that I would always listen to, no matter where I was going. So it was a big deal to me.
Yeah, Kiss is just, I mean, you can't say enough about Kiss. I think I've seen them at least 3 times over the decades. I did see the reunion tour when they had Peter Criss on drums. And yeah, it was just incredible. And that was back in the late 80s, early 90s.
That's pretty cool, yeah.
Yeah, that was a really great experience. But getting into your book here, I want you to talk about your experience when you were going to a Cure concert. But this was really a kind of an interesting part of your book.
Thank you. Yeah, so we would do quite a few road trips. We would they were playing the Hollywood Palladium many years ago, and we decided to come up to Los Angeles. And in the book you'll read, of course, it's all based on fiction a little bit.
Right, of course.
But of course. But that being said, we had back then. I mean, it was part of the culture. I mean, I hate to say it. Maybe I don't want to say I'm ashamed to say it. Thank God we didn't kill anybody. But a lot of kids, you drank and drove. You came up crazy and did stupid shit all the time. Part of my language. But yeah, we did stupid things, and we had nowhere to park. We were our first time at the Palladium, and we didn't know what to do, so we just left the car at a stoplight. And we went in and watched The Cure. We came back out. Everybody was completely out of their mind. Couldn't find the car because it was towed. Uh, part of our party was missing both of his shoes.
Oh
So
man.
so we hitchhiked a ride with a couple guys that ended up that we didn't know at the time were heroin addicts and coyote smugglers, and we we ended up in Mexico, um, and our friend one of the friends in the crew got arrested, and we had to you know summon someone in one of our families to come down and bail him out, on a dirt road with a bag of cash. Um, it was quite a trip, and the thing about the trip that was the most scary part was when we were on the I-5 approaching Encinitas. The driver starts hitting his arm, and I'm looking at this guy like, what is this guy doing? And he keeps hitting his arm, and then he stops all of a sudden, and he takes his wrist, flips it over, and then there's a big giant hole in it. A bunch of blood squirts out of it up into the ceiling, and that's when I realized this guy was smacking, right. And they took all of our belongings. It was for a ride we thought to San Diego. We never stopped in San Diego. We just kept going on the I-5 right through to Mexico. There wasn't a damn thing we could do about it unless we were going to jump out of the car. And we ended up at Ensenada, and that's how we got down there.
That's a great story though. And with this book, I mean, you have tales of your life. And of course, like you said, it's autobiographical, but I mean, you kind of
It's fictional a little bit, yeah.
put your own spin on it. But what do you love about music?
I think that almost every event in my life, and I've seen so many live rock and roll shows, I can't even count it at this point. But every event in my life, of major magnitude, whether it be death, breakups, exploring something new, hooking up with whoever that you hook up with, or having these incredible experiences of just things that you wouldn't normally experience, all have to do with music. I mean, you go to a venue, there's a band you have to go see, you do everything you can to go see the band, and then shit happens when you get to these events, and you meet people from all different backgrounds. And I love live music so much. I don't love it so much in the stadium realm. I love it when you just see bands just kind of breaking out in mid-sized clubs or smaller clubs or bars, and you get to see the groupies that are following them, the people that are probably more into them than you are. But now all of a sudden that you're into them, you're like totally excited about this brand new band and this brand new experience, and they lead you to all these little other side stories that can happen. You end up, like in The Cure, you end up down in Mexico. You end up you end up going to a concert of the Damned, and you end up going to an orgy up in Hollywood Hills. I mean, it's like you don't. I mean, you end up going places. It starts there, and then mayhem happens afterwards.
Right.
And I dig the mayhem. I love it. And I think that one of the things that I think that's kind of gotten lost a little bit, especially contemporary times, is the scare factor has gone out of rock and roll. Meaning, I like seeing kids at concerts, but I don't really want to see kids at a Guns N' Roses show, or if Wasp has a reunion, I don't want to bring their 8-year-old kids there. I want to see bands that are. You want mayhem to happen. You shouldn't have to be because they're 8-year-old kids there. You shouldn't have to worry about if someone's smoking pot or doing blow next to them because they're 8-year-old kids there. You're at a rock and roll show, for crying out loud. I want the danger there. I don't want it to be nice for my kids. Kids.
Right.
You know what I mean? If they want to bring their kids, show them a video on YouTube and edit it yourself. But if you're going to a live show, I want to have the shock and awe factor. I love it.
Absolutely. The smaller clubs, the smaller venues, to me, have more of an intimate vibe. You know, you're getting bands that are hungry, that have that passion, you know, for the industry, and they want to play original music. And like you said, I mean, things have kind of changed as far as like the demographic. I'll be honest with you, I rarely go to a big stadium to see a show anymore.
I refuse to almost. Yeah, I
Yeah,
agree with you.
yeah. I mean, because you want that intimacy. I mean, that's where I meet my connections. That's where I meet my bands. Or I'll meet a guitar player that's just checking out the show. Hey, how's it going? Whatever, you know? And I mean, there's so many local musicians in this town. And I know most of them for going to these little shows.
Well,
And
and they turn you on to other cool acts. It's
yeah,
like, you know, have you seen this other band? They're amazing. You know, like, you know, there's lots of bands that we both have hung out with, and we're like, who else do you like? And they say, you got to go see this band. I've never heard of the band, but then I go see them and I love them. And then it spawns into something else. And, you know, you meet someone who's interesting there, and then they spawn your ideas. And then
right.
it's like a flower. It keeps blooming over and over and over again and growing. And the smaller venues are precious, and they're disappearing. You know, they're getting bought out. We're losing a lot of them, and it's sad. I hope they hang on. I don't want to lose the small venues, because it's great to see bands, like you say, play original music, and then they can do whatever the hell they want there too, before their tour manager says they can't. You know, you watch a band,
Right.
yeah, you watch a band like Turnstile, who's just, when they first started out, was just incredible, you know, live. And, you know, they get signed to a big tour. All of a sudden you got, you know, a barricade of 50 yards between them and the audience. And they're not, I'm not saying they're not the same band, but the vibe totally changes. It's like, it's so impersonal at that point. You've lost the element of violence, the element of surprise, the element of, you know, God darn, do I really want to get that close to the stage? I might get my ass kicked.
Right.
You know?
And you know, let's think back to pandemic. Pandemic killed a lot of this. I blame that whole situation. I was interviewing rock bands during pandemic, and they were breaking up as I was interviewing them. You know, they would say, "Hey, I can't be on today. We just lost our guitar player, or we just lost our bass player." I mean, it was so unstable during that time. Now these bands are coming back with full material. They're ready to rock. They're ready to get back into the clubs. But then again, you know, you've got that factor of pay to play. And
Yeah.
that's a whole other show. But this has been a hot button topic with a lot of artists that I've talked to. And, you know, hey, you know what? Give the bands a chance to play. Okay.
Yeah.
I really think that the club owners are doing a disservice to the rock community by not letting these bands play.
I totally agree. They should let them, if they don't want to pay the band appropriately, at least give them beer money and a share of the door and a share of the bar. You know, like
Right.
Like Iguanas used to do. Like, you know, there's so many great venues. Iguanas in Mexico was unbelievable. Club Lingerie on Sunset was unbelievable. You know, these are places where you'd see guys hanging off the rafter of the top of the ceiling, falling down on your table and bleeding on you. I mean, it was great. Jane's Addiction, when they first came out, they were insane. I mean, people, you know, there's so many stories of so many bands. You had to deliver live back in the day, you know, because you were playing, like you say, for your life, because the competition was so heavy. You know, like you were playing, the Chili Peppers were opening for you. You know what I mean? It was like, you better be good. You know, Bible Black was opening for Megadeth. Megadeth better be good because Bible Black was going to kick their ass if they weren't, you
Right.
know. And
I
then
mean,
you know,
those
Megadeth played
bands,
Motorhead. Yeah, you know, it's like
all these bands were hungry back then. I mean, they were doing deals in the bathroom at the whiskey. I'll give you a 3-album deal, sign here. I mean,
yeah.
that's how it was back then. Let's talk a little bit about your experiences on the Sunset Strip at that
Yeah.
time.
Um, I would say that between 2000, I would probably go between like maybe 1999 to 2011 and 12. I would think the three most important places in Los Angeles would be Echo Park, um, the Cahuenga Corner, and of course the Rainbow and the whiskey. That the Rainbow, God bless it, never ever changes. It's the most beautiful bar probably in America. Top two. If there's one better, I'd love to go to it. It hasn't changed a lick, but I think that Echo Park was pretty important at that time. That you had Little Joys that would spin their own music, but it was always rock and roll or different type. You would hear rock and roll, then you would hear rap, then you would hear a country song. You'd have wires hanging out of the ceiling. You'd have the gold room. You'd have the waitresses that are serving you peanuts and them just playing whatever the hell they wanted to play. You, you had Hotel Cafe, you had the Burgundy Room on Cahuenga. The Burgundy Room was amazing. The Burgundy Room, they only spun records there. Club Lingerie, of course, it closed down, but they had a lot of great bands that played there. We're losing venues of where these bands are playing. I thank God for the Echoplex and the Echo for hanging on to what they're hanging on to. But Spaceland closed down. Spaceland was a humongous, humongous venue for so many bands to start out.
Well, even the Viper Room. Let's talk about that. The Viper Room.
Yeah.
See, I mean, you had Gazzari's.
Gazzari's, yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Gazzari's was phenomenal. The Cat Club was phenomenal.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just incredible places. Cat Club was really cool, actually. When I think about it, Viper Room still has some good shows that play there, but it was more of a venue for a band, even a huge band, to come in and then do like a private gig and then just do their material that you wouldn't normally see anywhere else. And I guess Troubadour kind of holds on to that a little bit down here,
Right.
Down the street here. I'm grateful that some of these places are still in business, and I hope they don't go out of business. But it's invaluable to. There's bars in Arizona called the Sun Club, Lawn Wands, small venues. I mean, Nirvana played at I believe it was either Sun Club or Lawn Wands before Nevermind came out. I mean, Firehose played there. I mean, the Firehose, everybody walked in there. It was such a beat up fest. I mean, it was such a slam pit. There was no air conditioning. It's 120 degrees in there. Everybody walked out of there without their shirt on, some blood on them, missing clothes, missing items of whatever they brought in there. It was beautiful, It was like you would go in there and you'd come out like you were like a warrior, And whether you love heavy metal or punk rock or whatever the genre that grunge, whatever it was at the time, you went to a show and you knew something special was going to happen, And I miss that element. I think there's a lot of great bands that are still playing music right now, but I think that, like you say, because of demographics, because of the iPhones, everybody take pictures of bands while you're at a show, he's holding their phone up. It's taken away a lot of the element of surprise and danger out of watching a rock and roll and thrill.
I mean, yeah, and I get that as a rock journalist. My phone has captured some of the most amazing footage.
Yeah.
From the most amazing experiences. And yeah, there's a lot of people that are doing it that shouldn't be.
Don't you feel like that? But I do kind of feel grateful, and don't you feel grateful too at the same time? Like if you can't make a show, I know this sounds oxymoronic, but I mean you can't make a show, you can YouTube the band that you wanted to see last night and then watch them live where they played in Tennessee or,
Right. Of
in
course.
New Orleans. I think at the same time, I do dig the technology. It's a beautiful thing, but I just think that you lose the element of danger by always having a camera on somebody too.
Yeah.
And
And I don't, yeah, I mean, well, I respect that opinion. I don't necessarily have a camera on somebody all the time, but when I take pictures and when I film, it's a feeling. I wait for the money shot, as I call it.
yeah,
You once I get it, I'm done. And then I stop. I don't continue. You have to, as a rock journalist, you're there, you capture some stuff, you don't go crazy. I don't need 200 shots of George Lynch, you know,
yeah,
um, and I've covered him a couple times, you know, Vivian Campbell with Last in Line. I was right
yeah.
in front of him. I didn't need 200 pictures of him. I needed
No,
3 or 4 good shots and that was it, you know. But
it's good to see Lynch Mob still touring
yeah,
too.
for sure. But it just comes down to I want to document this, because 20 years from now, who knows? They're gonna want to see what happened in this time period. And I love what I do. I love going to shows. I love talking to bands. I love talking to people like yourself that are rock enthusiasts that have lived the life. We all have amazing stories
It's true. We all do have amazing stories.
of bands. I mean, I'll tell you a story right now. I'm from Chicago,
Yep.
and the band Disturbed is also from Chicago.
Yes, they are.
And I saw their first ever live show in Chicago before they hit the road when they signed their record deal. And it was at a small club called the Metro. And
I know them. I know the club. Yeah.
yeah, so we were upstairs. We had great view because we didn't want to be down there in the pit because it was crazy. This is their hometown, right? So
Yeah.
I knew it was going to get crazy. So anyway, the concert was amazing. David Draymond came up, was, talking to us, and he was like thanking us for coming, thanking for the support. Those are the kind of bands that have longevity and lifetime longevity. And after the show, you're gonna think this is fun. At the time, I didn't think it was funny, but I'm coming down the stairs, and my ex-husband at the time was standing by the front door, and all of a sudden, a slew of people behind me, my feet were off the ground. I flew out the front doors on some dude's car. Like literally, I mean, I was like elevated. I felt like the air underneath my feet. What is going on? It's like little things like that. Like at a Kiss concert, the Kiss reunion concert I was telling you about, I fell down the stairs.
There was a band from Chicago I really loved during that era. Did you know a band called Naked Ray Gun?
Yes.
Love that band.
Another great band. Well, we know Cheap Trick, they're from Rockford, but
Yeah.
Holland was a great band from Chicago at that time.
Have you heard of Bridget Calls Me Baby?
No, I don't think so.
They're a relatively new band that's from Chicago. They're pretty interesting. They're kind of they're like the Smiths on steroids.
Oh wow.
But they're really really good.
But yeah, experiences, you can never have enough. And coming from the 80s, when I started my rock and roll journey, I mean, I've got a lot of stories, to tell, and I've got so many more bands to meet. And meeting rock enthusiasts, and I love talking rock. I could talk rock for hours.
I could go for 24 hours
Oh my
on
God.
every different on different subjects too. Like, even like maybe it is your type of music, I don't know, but bands like Wilco from Chicago,
Yes.
I mean, they have some amazing. I've seen them live several times. They're an amazing live band. I mean, their music is, some people love it, some people don't, but live, I don't know if there's a better guitarist I've ever seen in my life than Nels Klein. He's insane on guitar.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much great music coming out of Chicago. In the past couple decades, we haven't really seen a lot. So
It's
yeah,
coming out now though. Yeah, it's coming
yeah.
around again.
And
Yeah.
Vegas here is I think it's taking a lot from LA because all these bands that I talk to that actually live out there, um, they said the music scene is dying out there. And a lot of them are coming and migrating here.
Yeah, it's just the whole point. They're losing spots to play, and they're making them pay to play if they want to play, and it's hard for a promoter to give a band $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 guaranteed if only, like, 48 people show up. You got to have promoters that want to have the balls to step out on bands that are just coming out, that, yeah, you might get lucky and have the Arcade Fire show up and you're going to sell out your tickets in 5 minutes, when a band first breaks out. But you're going to have bands that are, as great, that you might eat $10,000 on. You're not going to hit a winner every time you book a band. And Vegas is an up and coming spot because you have a lot of untapped territory that hasn't been tapped yet. You have one of my favorite bars there too, the Double Down.
Oh, that place. Oh, yeah, that place definitely has history.
I've had a
I'm a little too claustrophobic, man. I can't even get past the stairs. I'm like, I'll pass.
that's one of the, there's two bars that you walk into and you smell the aroma of throw up. It'd be the Double Down would be one, and then the Alibi in San Diego would be the other. You
Okay.
walk in and you're smelling throw up the minute you walk in
Oh,
there.
yeah, I can totally attest to that. That's for sure.
But
But
it's kind of cool though too,
yeah, you get yeah, of course it's a vibe, right?
It's
Totally.
the vibe, and it's like, everything's about people. We're nothing without other people to add flavor and character and to our own character, but to be around characters. I mean, just to see stupidity happen and to be around stupidity and fun and pleasure too. A lot of this stuff. I won't. I'll speak for myself, but I've ended up in a lot of weird experiences. Whether it be through sex or gambling or there's drugs and all types of stuff, and some of them are written in the book here. Quite a
Yeah,
few of them.
that's what I was gonna say. You've got some great experiences in that book.
But it does stem from music, most of it. Really, at the end of the day, it's like, let's go watch a band, and then this happens, or you meet this person, and they like this band, and you go together, and then you get to know them better. It does stem from music, but it's hard. It's a hard life to live, I suppose, deal with your vices. And I didn't write the book to come off as a preachy person or be on a soapbox. I didn't want that whatsoever. I still like to do a lot of things. I would probably say I probably am an addict in a lot of ways, but it doesn't mean I'm stopping doing what I'm going to do either. I just hope to somehow manage it and keep it under some type of control, so I could stay alive a lot longer. But that being said, I wouldn't change my lifestyle for anything. If someone says there's a great band right now playing tonight, I can tell you I'm definitely going to it. Like, let's just go. Because what are you going to do? Sit at home and just watch TV? You know what I mean? It's like, yeah. I mean, don't you get excited if someone tells you to go watch a band you never seen before or never
Yeah,
even heard?
for sure.
And don't you just want to go?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And sometimes it's not the greatest gig, but you know what? You win. That's the whole thing. You know,
I was there. Like I was there at that gig when he fell off the stage and he kept singing.
that's it. That's exactly right. And it's cool to see. So, you know, um, I will always give a band a try. If someone loves the band, pretty much all genres are, I'm down for all genres. I mean, I saw NWA live. I don't think many people would say that. I saw Body Count live. I've seen so many punk bands I can't count. I've seen, you know, so many heavy metal bands and death metal bands and death rock and then glam rock and lipstick
It
and
all too.
all of it.
Yeah, I mean, I've pretty much have seen it all pretty much. But there's always a band out there that needs to be seen, needs to be heard, you know. And
Absolutely.
what kind of advice can you give somebody to live their best life?
I think that's what it is. I think you need to say yes. I think if someone tells you let's go try something, let's go meet somebody, let's go see something. You may have other ideas about doing it. You may have some reservations, but I think you should go do it. It's okay to be uncomfortable. I think it's super okay to be uncomfortable. I think it's okay to be leery. Um, but you know, I'll tell you a quick story. My brother and his wife, you know, my brother's a lunatic, so he was fine with doing anything that I would do. But I remember one New Year's Eve, the Cramps were playing at Iguanas in Mexico, and his wife she was his wife then, goes, I don't know if I want to go see this. I've never seen this kind of band. I'm kind of scared to go. And we go down there and they go on at midnight, you know, and he's drinking a bottle of Bordeaux and, you know, doing his thing with the microphone and really as raunchy as it possibly can be in Tijuana. And, you know, to this day, that girl still talks about that show. Like I was there at that show, even though it's not her kind of music, even though she probably won't see that band again. She still talks about like, damn, Billy took us down there, you know, and it was that was some scary shit, man. We took a cab down to Tijuana. We got out. Here's this band playing, and you know, the guy's giving head to a microphone. 5 minutes later, what was the Cramps? You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
Yeah, so it was pretty cool.
I mean, if anybody hasn't seen Iggy Pop, man, I mean, that guy's the original.
I've seen him several times. I saw him at the one of the times I saw him was at El Rey Theater. He was bleeding all over the place. I don't even know how he does it. And still at his age, his energy level is so high. He's amazing. He's truly amazing.
Great. Let me tell you, he's one of the greatest rock performers ever.
Easily.
Easily. And I mean, let's look at Keith Richards. I thought that guy would be dead by now. No way, man. That guy's still up there killing it. I'm like, wow.
He has the greatest statement that I've ever heard any rock and roller say, you know, or mention. He goes, I only get sick when I stop drinking and stop doing drugs. I mean, he's just a legend beyond belief.
Yeah, I mean, what can you say to that? You know, I mean, crazy.
Yeah, and then there was, you know, artists like G.G. Allen. I don't know if you
yeah, he was there. If I'm not mistaken, he's from Milwaukee.
Crazy, yeah, and do
oh my god,
stuff on stage all the time. You know, Alien Sex Fiend, another great band that, you know, has only toured her a few times. Yeah, I'm kind of excited the fact that Wasp is going on tour again.
Oh my god, that's going to be one hell of a show. Let me tell you, I saw Wasp 19 years ago when he did his solo tour for the Crimson Idol.
Wow.
He did the full album and he had full video behind him for every single song. Let me tell you something. This Blackie Lawless is one of the most intelligent rock stars. I mean, people do not give him credit.
Not enough of it. I agree with you. Not enough of it. And they're redoing they're doing their entire first album on this
Yeah.
tour from start to finish. It's going to be pretty
And,
unbelievable.
you know, Blackie Lawless has had some health issues and over the past, I think, couple years. So for him to get out, I mean, the fans wanted this. This is why he's doing it, because the fans want it.
Yeah, I think I think you know, if you like mayhem, if you like drugs, and if you like sex, and then you like gambling, and you like some family stuff involved, you know, maybe some sentimentality, a lot of ex-girlfriends being pissed off at you, the Yellow Pinto might be, you know, your cup of tea.
Oh, absolutely. Let's talk about that. Now, your book is pretty amazing.
Thank you.
Can they purchase your book? Let's tell the viewers.
You can do it on Amazon, you can do it on Kindle, you can do it on Roku, you can do it on Ingram. A lot of bookstores are carrying it as right now as we speak. But Amazon, KDP, Ingram, Roku, Barnes and Noble, it's available everywhere. It's pretty easy to get a hold of.
And that's a great book. Do you plan on writing another one?
We're doing one right now while we speak. Yeah.
Oh,
and
great.
It's a little bit more of the same. I don't know if it's the exact same, but it kind of deals with some of there's some unsettling issues that the book was left at, and that's how the next book opens.
Yeah. And you left a couple, chapters in there where, left it wide open so you can come back and follow up with a lot of that stuff, which is great.
Well, let's hope that I maybe have learned a few lessons and don't fuck up so much with some of the relationships and some of the people that I've
Right.
maybe hurt or offended or otherwise.
But it was so great talking to you. We'll definitely have to do a follow-up interview.
I would love to.
When your next book comes out. This book is really amazing. There's so many stories in there. I hope the viewers get a chance to get it. Because this story continues. There's definitely a lot.
There's a lot there, and it goes by very, very quickly. I think it's a pretty easy read, but it snaps off pretty quickly. Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely digs into the mind, and you kind of go to a different place. Like, wow, I'm in that place where that car just got left.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You put
Yeah.
yourself in there and you kind of feel the experience.
Well, you tell the story.
Really great.
You tell the story, backwards. I mean, it's like, you got hit by a train. What happened before you got hit by the train,
Right.
type of thing, and we hope to capture, we don't want, I didn't want anybody to be bored reading it. And so far we've had a very, very good response to it. We're getting very good reviews. We're very grateful for that. And we hope the book continues on its quest. Maybe we'll see it on television and or film, and we'll get on to the next one.
Yeah, and this story with us continues, so we'll definitely do a nice little follow-up here in the next few months towards the end of the year. But thank you so much for coming on. I so appreciate it. Thank you for my friend Michelle Shozer Davis for putting us together.
Yes.
I think both of us have a lot of rock and roll stories to tell.
Yes.
So, the world is our oyster at this point, for sure.
Maybe we'll pick out a band that we both really dig, and then maybe let's needle the band and interview both of us.
Yeah, for sure. That sounds
really kind of fun, actually.
Absolutely.
I would love it.
Yeah, you're gonna be. I know I told Michelle this, but I'm coming up to my 100th episode of On the Rocks. And your episode right now is going to be the 99th episode.
Wow, I didn't know that. Wow. I'm
So
honored.
yeah. So yeah. So I'm super excited. So we'll be airing this in a few weeks. And
Awesome.
I look forward to talking to you in the future.
Congratulations on number 100 and number 99. I was proud to be a part of it. Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you so much, and we'll talk soon.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. B.walter Will. Wow, this guy has got the rock and roll stories. Incredible. Definitely get that book, The Yellow Pinto. It has a lot of amazing experiences. So definitely do that. So this is On the Rocks, Total Entertainment. Always like and subscribe to On the Rocks, Total Entertainment YouTube, because you never know who I will be interviewing next.